I'd like to comment on reports of an anti-lockdown protest that occurred over the weekend in Glastonbury in Somerset, and it was led by Piers Corbyn, who's the brother of Jeremy Corbyn. And I'm no fan of Jeremy Corbyn, and I'm sure if I met Piers Corbyn, I'd probably like him even less. But we as the British people know that all of us have the right to protest, and of course with this lockdown in place, people being under mass house arrest, how are you supposed to protest against it? But Piers Corbyn's gone out there and protested it, and we should show him a lot of respect for the courage to do that. There's been reports in the news that this protest was broken up by police, and however, Piers Corbyn's come out and said that wasn't the case. And there's a story in Somerset Live, which is a local media publication, and I just want to read you some comments by Piers Corbyn and by the police chief from the area. So it says, police have explained their response after Piers Corbyn and Glastonbury residents claimed an anti-lockdown protest was not broken up by the officers. Piers Corbyn, who spoke at the protest, claimed on Twitter that police did not disperse the group of 30 to 40 people. And he said police gave social distancing advice at the rally, and he wrote that the lockdown's killing more people than it's saving. And I'll read you some comments about what he said at the protest. However, the superintendent Andy Bennett of Avon and Somerset Police said that when the protest finished within an hour, the group subsequently dispersed, adding they believed the police actions were proportionate to the situation. So it seems like all parties agree that that's the case. And Andy Bennett goes on to say that further resources were deployed onto the scene to support officers on the ground and ensure the safety of the public was preserved. He said this peaceful protest came to a conclusion within an hour, and the group subsequently dispersed. We believe the actions we took were proportionate to the situation and both protected the safety of the public and our officers. However, we continue to urge people to follow the government's advice and avoid all non-essential travel. If members of the public see ongoing incidents where social distancing restrictions are not being adhered to, then please call 101. So the way I read this is that if you want to organise an anti-lockdown protest, you are welcome to do so. The police will support you. But they want anyone who watches the protest or sees the protest or maybe attends the protest to call them to report it. And I think the police are in a bit of a no-win situation because they are supposed to enforce this regulation of social distancing. However, social distancing is not a law, whereas freedom of association is a law. The right to protest the government is protected. And it's amazing how we have, all these media figures who, whenever Greta Thunberg's doing a protest or whenever feminists are doing a protest, they're always bending over backwards to say how everyone has the right to protest. It was less than a year ago, there was all these Remainer people protesting the Brexit and wanting to overturn the democratically elected referendum result. Again, it's their right to do so. When Piers Corbyn comes out and protests against the lockdown, there's been very, very few people that have been coming to his defence. I'm glad I'm one of them. And I'll just finish with a few comments that Piers Corbyn made in the protest, and you can take them for what they're worth. He said, the lockdown is achieving the opposite of what it is intended to achieve. We know there is no pandemic. We'll have more deaths from loneliness, suicide, and people being kept out of hospital. He added, we also know those countries who have had no lockdown have had even less people dying from this supposed coronavirus, whatever that may be. He also said that everyone who gets CV flu recovers unless they have underlying health conditions. So there you go. So that's what Piers Corbyn has been doing. If you want to organise a lockdown protest, I'm not encouraging this, but everyone in Britain has the right to protest. I would think this would be the outcome that you can expect to happen. The police will support your right to protest, but they'll encourage anyone who notices you to advise them of what's going on. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.